Welcome to eTech. I'm Jeff Seckendorf, the Education Manager at Createasphere. I'm going to tell you a little bit about who we are, what eTech is, and how this class is laid out. eTech is brought to you by Createasphere. You may know us as HD Expo, but that name's gone. We're now Createasphere. We produce a series of expos or trade shows that showcase film, video, and other content production technologies. Along with that, we produce close to 100 days of live workshops each year on various entertainment technologies. We produce Reducation, the only red-sanctioned training for this groundbreaking camera system. We also do a series of workshops based on the Panasonic P2 and Vericam systems. We do Color Camp, which is an amazing class on how people see, on how cameras see, and how to integrate that into your film or video project. We do custom training also. Right now we're creating and producing a series of workshops to train Camera Guild members on the new digital data handling procedures, which of course brings us to eTech. We've been seeing the need to close the technology gap for non-technical people working in a very technical industry. As content creation continues to move from film-based acquisition and chemical-based finishing to file-based acquisition and 100% digital finishing and distribution, we see incredibly rapid changes in technologies. Soon you're going to hear about a really interesting theory called Moore's Law, which just talks so much about how this technology is growing at an incredibly rapid rate. For example, just a very few years ago, digital intermediates, the non-photochemical process for finishing a film, those were reserved for the biggest budget and most complicated productions. But today, with reduced costs and increased access to all sorts of new technologies, the smallest of independent films can now do a DI, or digital intermediate. But what is this new technology that's driving cost down? And is it really driving cost down, or is it just creating new ways to do the same things? What's old, what's new, what's current, what's on its way out, what's being replaced by something better? These are all the questions we'll address in the next few hours as we open the doors to eTech. So who is eTech really for? I believe that everyone who has anything to do with producing movies, commercials, music videos, TV, internet content, pretty much anything that moves on screen will benefit by this program. We're bringing technical information to a non-technical audience, introducing you to new products, technology, ideas, all the while keeping it as simple and straightforward as we can. This is not a jargon class, but an opportunity to be exposed to new and sometimes complicated processes, all described and presented in a way that anyone can understand. Our job is to help you acquire the tools that every producer, director, writer, editor, and cinematographer should know about today's state of the art. And our promise is that we will present this in a way that never loses track of the fact that we're all visual storytellers. And this technology, all the new gizmos and gadgets, the workflow, the concepts, all of that, it's just created as tools to support us being able to tell our stories in an incredibly visual way. We'll never lose sight of the fact that the technology unto itself may be interesting, especially to us, but the end goal is for us as filmmakers and storytellers to integrate into our work the best possible technology and practices that are available in today's incredibly rapidly changing world. We have to let the craft support our art, as opposed to the other way around. So all that being said, here's what eTech is. Two classes, eTech 1 and eTech 2, each 6 chapters. You're watching eTech 1, which covers prep, acquisition, and production. For prep, we'll look at concepts such as all prep starts with deliverables, along with some of the topics available to us like previs and storytelling software. We'll talk about film, digital, and tape production, and the tools and technology that are showing up to make all forms of acquisition easier. We'll talk to some of the industry leaders in 3D and other new production techniques, and we'll take a look at color and lighting. Then we'll move on to an introduction to editorial as it relates to production, how to prep for on-set editing, how to scale your editorial to your job, and so on. Then down the line in eTech 2, we'll go into much greater depth on the editing systems, post-workflow, color correction, visual effects, deliverables, and distribution. Your instructors for eTech are me and my friend Michael Cioni. I think of us more as guides, though, as all we're really going to do is reinterpret what's out there and move it into an understandable form. So here's just a moment about me. I've spent my life as a director of photography and commercial director-cameraman, having shot miles and miles and miles of motion picture film, along with projects on most of the current cameras, the Red, the Vericam, the new Sonys, and so on. I'm also kind of a fanatic on understanding post-production and knowing how the post-workflow can influence a shoot. And I've loved teaching and inventing new ways to teach. I spent 20 years running workshops in the film industry and recently came to Createasphere to manage this amazing educational program. So joining me is Michael Cioni, the founder and president of Light Iron Digital Post. You'll meet Michael in a couple of minutes, but by way of introduction, he's one of our industry's leaders in digital workflow. Michael has one of the broadest visions of digital post of anyone we've ever met. He has an amazing knack for scalability, which means you can bring him a $20,000 commercial or a $20 million feature, and he'll very quickly be able to set up an efficient and economical workflow. And here's the amazing thing about Michael. He never loses focus on your story. Michael is one of the true post-production storytellers, and we're thrilled he's a part of eTech. So get ready for some fun. Here comes eTech.